right, why don't we talk some Mississippi State football with Daniel Black? You can join him and the rest of the staff at SB Nation on For Whom the Cowbell Tolls. It's the SB Nation platform for Mississippi State athletics. We take a little break from basketball to get settled on Mississippi State football. Daniel, following a bowl victory for many, not myself because I predicted the upset over the 7-point favorite Louisville Cardinals, but a bit of an upset and surprise. I think the standard thinking was, okay, Nick Fitzgerald's gone. They lost to Ole Miss with the backup quarterback in play. Lamar Jackson's final game. We're gonna sway the line Louisville's way, but Mississippi State finished off a 9-4 campaign with a bowl victory with a bit of a skeleton coaching staff, but they got the job done.
That's right, and the thoughts most people had going into that game were very accurate. We lost Dan Mullen, lost Nick Fitzgerald, we lost our defensive coordinator, our co-offensive coordinators. The list could go on, ranging from Dan Mullen to our strength coach. So going into the game, we did have a skeleton staff. Our running backs coach, Greg Knox, was our interim head coach, and he did an absolutely terrific job. We kept some of the staff in place for that game, like quarterbacks coach, or now majority of that staff is no longer in the Mississippi State staff. Some went with Dan Mullen, some were left on the road, for lack of a better term, but including quarterbacks coach Brett Elliott and tight ends coach DJ Looney, among others. But yeah, it was a game that from the outlook looked pretty pessimistic for Mississippi State, but it was just one of those things where it sounds extremely cliche, but it was one of those things where Mississippi State rallied together and sort of pulled out a victory that's absolutely huge for the momentum coming off of that Egg Bowl loss. But in this game, for Mississippi State, it was one on the ground and with our defense. Lamar Jackson had an uncharacteristic day. He threw 4 interceptions, 3 of which to safety Mark McLaurin. And we held him to only 171 yards through the air. He had a good day on the ground, but other than that, those 4 interceptions turned out to be key. Our ground game was absolutely fantastic. Keaton Thompson, the backup quarterback, ran for 147 yards and 3 TDs, and also our running back Arius Williams ran for 88 yards and a touchdown. So those two were, when just looking at the box score, those 2 statistics sort of jump out as in terms of turnovers in our rushing attack. It was a game we shot ourselves in the foot. We committed a bunch of turnovers, had a missed field goal in the first half. Should have had the halftime lead if it weren't for a fumble that resulted in Lamar Jackson taking 3 plays to go down the field and score. I think it was a 90-yard drive in 3 plays. But fortunately, Mississippi State was able to keep it together and had a pretty solid second half, and picked off Lamar Jackson 2 more times in the second half. And Keaton Thompson, who struggled mightily in the Egg Bowl, I think those 15 bowl practices really helped him, comes back with a pretty terrific performance, sort of a vanilla performance through the air, but on the ground he was absolutely fantastic, and he led the game-winning drive in the fourth quarter to give us a 31-27 victory.